something to finish, then let's print out the flyer that I sent.
Okay,
I'm gonna send that to you again, so it's on top of your phone.
I got it.
Yeah. Nikki, which way are your restrooms?
The restroom running down the hallway, you go out of the building, there's a hallway.
Out of the building?
Yeah, right out there, out the doors, and then make a left.
Left and then the first right.
Hi, Rosa. Say hi, Rosa. Hi, Rosa.
Hi, Nikki. Sorry, I don't have my camera on. I'm kind of in 2 meetings at once.
Hey, we're just glad you're here. So we should be
Thank
starting
you.
soon. Some people just situating in, but we're glad you're here, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so you hear some noise in the background, but just want to see the screen right there and we're gonna, all right?
Okay. Yep,
Thank
looks
you.
good. Thank you.
No, I was gonna cut Where did you come from? Did you come from Sacramento or Elk Grove?
Elk Grove, yeah.
How was traffic?
That one exit. Down from here.
Hey, Kathy, I'd love to text you. So this is Kathy.
Hello.
Get some plates, some food, not the other drinks out there. You guys grab food, yeah. So we're gonna start, and we're gonna give you guys some flyers.
1 second. Thanks for taking your time joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Well, I guess we should get everybody. We could win twice. Trying to make you all win twice. Did you also come from Elk Grove?
Okay, we're gonna.
Send you a very short PowerPoint.
You call them. I'll let you know, or just whatever you can. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Right, do we have other people joining us here? Okay.
So we're gonna start pretty soon. Trickling in. All right, guys.
other people on Zoom.
We knew you're gonna come here. He's like, I knew you had food. That's what we thought about it because it was close to dinner. So we wanted to get back some snacks.
South of New Jersey wine, so.
Yeah. So, we're gonna call Amy. Ready, Amy? Yeah. So I know we only have an hour because we don't want you guys to miss out on this program. It's super awesome. And thank you for being here. And I know you guys are my friends, clients already. The point is you guys are, having you guys here is important because there's a new program and I don't want you guys to miss it. And the reason how this came about, we had a client that she thought she was my tribe and how we got connected with Ryan because she has her child with special needs. And that's what the only income that she's getting. And I got them linked up. She didn't have to put any money down. And she, in 5 years, she gets 10%, 10%, it will be given. So isn't that amazing? And this program just came out. So I want to say, if you guys know anyone, a lot of people don't know. And we want to get the word out there because, when interest rates low, people are like, man, I wish I should have refinanced. I wish I should have bought. And some people are like, no one told me. So we are telling you. So because we don't know, like what Ryan said, funds might run out. It's new. It just came on. People jumping on board. And if you don't take advantage of it, if we're not letting you guys know, then we failed as being your agent. So I just want to introduce you guys because we're ready to help you, and I want to introduce you to the team. So you guys know I'm Nikki Wynn. Hi, welcome. Thanks for coming. Have some food. Sit because it's an hour and it's only dinner time. So I want to introduce Amy. She's on the team. This is the Nikki Wynn's team. So hi everyone. My name's Amy. She's gonna tell a little bit about herself. I just moved to El Faro probably like 3 years ago. I have a daughter and a son. My son is 26 and my daughter is 7. I know I have 2 only child. They're the age gap. So my son was in college, then I have my daughter. I've been so with real estate, this job really we do make a difference, like for example, like with that buyer, she was like so happy when we got her offer accepted. She was like so grateful, very emotional. So we do make a difference. We were all in tears. Yeah, we were. She was, yeah, super great. Yeah. Super great. And this is Tyler.
I've been in the business for about 2 years now. I've been on Nikki's team for about, 11 and a half now.
11 and a half.
So it's been good. I enjoy the real estate business, connecting with people, works on born and raised in Sacramento. So I enjoy the real estate business.
And then we have Shannon.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I have a 2-year-old and an almost 4-year-old who'll be 4 next week. They both go to the Lutheran Care here in Elk Grove. They love it and I love it. We also go to church here in Elk Grove, so we know the area pretty well. I've also been on the team for about a month and a half, and we want to help you guys. So we have a lot of information to give you. I hope you remember for a month.
Sure. So just want to let you know we could definitely support you. One of us are busy and work as a team. So we have really good support. So you guys are not here. You guys want to hear what's going on. So we want to introduce Ryan because he's the expert, not us, but enjoy some food. Grasp all the information, but most important, we want to help you purchase your first home. And a lot of other people. We want to make your dream come true. So let's welcome Ryan.
Hi guys, how are you? Good. I'm like, am I centered here? I want to make sure I get really close to the camera as I'm talking. Did I get that right? So want to make sure I introduce myself first. My name is Ryan Hoffman. To give you guys a little information, I am a loan officer here at with Summit Funding. Summit Funding is the 5th largest privately held oldest mortgage company in the country. That's a whole bunch of words that doesn't mean a lot of stuff to a lot of people. But long story short, we are one of the strongest, most stable mortgage companies there is, and we have an ability to do things that a lot of other banks don't. When you think of big banks that are able to do things, you think of like Wells Fargo, Chase, big banks that are doing credit cards, savings accounts, CDs, all that stuff. We only do mortgages, and that's what makes us really good, is that we focus on just getting as many mortgages done and doing it better than anybody else. The owner of our company, Todd Screamup, lives here in Sacramento. So what's really cool is though we're licensed in 40 states, we are 45, something like that, over 40 states. If I ever need something, we can make decisions, and I can just pick up the phone and call Uncle Todd and say, hey, Todd, this is a really good client. You should do this deal. And he'll usually say, okay, if I ask him. So it's very, very, very cool. We can do things that other people can't. In terms of me, I am a second generation loan officer. That means that my family has been in the mortgage industry for 33 years. So though I'm obviously a young specimen of a loan officer, and it looks like I've barely been doing this for a couple months, I've been doing this basically my whole life. So I've been completely surrounded by it from the time I was a little kid. I am, for perspective, I am a top 1% loan officer in the country by volume and unit. So long story short, I do a lot of loans, and I've done a lot, and I know how to do all kinds of weird, crazy situations. So your situation, I can probably handle it. So probably no big deal. In terms of me personally, I am moved up here from LA about 5 years ago now. I recently moved up here. Me and my wife have a 10-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. And about 5 years ago, we found out that my son was diagnosed with autism. And so we decided to move up here because we're in Roseville. The Roseville and Elk Grove are the 2 school districts that have the best treatment for special needs and resources for special needs. If you didn't know that, it's awesome. Is that the best in the state? Yeah, that's in the state. The reason for that, UC Davis in Sacramento, UC Davis has the Mind Institute. It's a research facility for special needs and developmental disabilities. It's one of the best facilities in the whole world. And because of that, there's so much brain power and concentration of resources here, you can't find it anywhere else. So we made a decision to pick up our family and move over in order to do what was best for our family and do what's best for our kids. And we've been blessed above and beyond we can even imagine. In terms of kind of my methodology of how we work and how I personally do business, me and my family are devout Christians. So everything we do is done out of gratitude and out of that way. So when you think about the fact that we have, and us personally, we have all that we could ever want and need to be taken care of, but out of gratitude, we want to serve. We want to do as much. We don't ever have to worry about whether or not we're going to have food to eat, but we're so grateful that we want to help as many people as possible. And it shows in how we help people like our client that we're working with right now, that she's going to be buying her first house and she had no idea it was even possible. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about the process. Why the Equity Builder program? So there's a whole bunch of different kinds of loan programs. FHA, conventional, these are all basic programs, but this is a very narrow niche product that is meant to help people who have one thing. They are a little bit low in the asset department. There are 3 things that make up your ability to actually get a loan or not. That's your income, your credit history, and your assets. And if your assets are a little light, the Equity Builder can save your life and get you opportunities you did not even realize were available. The basics of the Equity Builder. It is a 10% of the purchase price, forgivable second mortgage. It is 0 interest, meaning that as long as you live in this house for 5 years, then that debt is completely forgiven. You don't ever have to pay it back. It is awesome. Me and everybody in my office, whenever we're going through and talking about how the program works and how a lot more people than you think can actually qualify for that free money, we just keep saying the same thing. How have they not run out of money yet? Which is the reason why it's so important that we talk about it now. It's because they run out of money every single year. So we want to make sure that anybody who can take advantage of it, takes advantage of it. And also when you think about, when we compare other details and specifics about this program, it has lower interest rates than other loan programs similar, and it has lower mortgage insurance than other loan programs. So it is a very, very, very cool program. Now, in terms of qualifying for this program, there's, like I said, 3 things that are important: your income, your credit history, and your assets. When it comes to the income, there is special requirements in each city. They basically want to make sure that whoever takes advantage of this program actually needs it. So they have restrictions on how much income you can make. It's 80% of the median income. It's a very easy thing for us to look up, so you don't have to worry too much about it. But in this region, it's about $81,000 a year. Now,
Can't go above that.
cannot go above that, but there are ways of finding creative loopholes in how to make things work. Let me explain. I always love this part. So when you think, you ever read Outliers? The David,
Yeah.
Outliers. So Outliers is if anybody hasn't read it, it's a book by Malcolm Gladwell. It talks about how some of the best performers in the world have 10,000 hours of experience doing something before they become master level. And the way I look at it is that the first 5 years, whether you're a financial expert, you're a mortgage expert, you're a CPA, you do real estate, whatever it is, the first 5 years, you're just becoming proficient and at the tactical stuff about learning your craft, learning the rules. And then everything 5 years and beyond, you're just getting creative. You're just learning what rules can bend, what rules can break, how you can restructure something to get you there. And it's gotten to the point where it's really fun for me. So it's really, really fun. So sometimes the way the rules work with the income restrictions, you can actually, it only counts what you use to qualify. That sounds a little tricky, but here's this. I have a client right now. Actually, I have a client who got an equity builder loan about 2-3 months ago. He's self-employed. When I ran the numbers through the system, it said you only need to average your income over 1 year, and then that's the income you can use. But if I average it over 2 years, his income is below the maximum and he still qualifies. So I had to figure out how to jerry-rig the system to get him where he wanted to be. That is a very inside baseball kind of a example, but you may have opportunities that you did not even realize that you have. So just because I say a number like, oh, I make 85,000, that won't work for me. Still worth the conversation. There may still be ways. Now, so the requirements for the equity builder, you got to have a certain debt to income ratio, basically how much income you earn versus how much your monthly expenses are. It's a fancy word for the percentage of your debt versus how much you make. Certain rules about how you got to qualify for that. And with anything, we can find ways of finagling the numbers to get you where you need to be, qualify, and do everything all good to go. Now, there are usually this time there's people who think that certain parts of what they can and can't do don't qualify. So I always like to go through some basics about qualifying. When you qualify for a mortgage, there's 3 things I mentioned that you need in order to qualify for any kind of mortgage in this country. Your income, you need to show that you have the ability to actually make your mortgage payment. Your credit history, you got to show that you have a good track record of paying back money when you borrow it. And assets. The government wants to make sure that you're not a drug dealer. Pretty much it. That's drug dealer part. That's one part. Yeah, there's anti-money laundering laws we have to comply with. Is one thing. Make sure we're not funding terrorism. But also, they want to make sure that any money you're using is an acceptable source. You're not borrowing money on a credit card in order to get your down payment, stuff like that. So I always like to go over a couple common things that people think about when they are going through the process. Number 1, income. Income has all kinds of special rules about how we can apply to them. Let's get a couple examples. So self-employed. Self-employed are people who generally file their own taxes, and they want to claim a whole bunch of, they want to say, I made all this money, but I had, let me write off every single thing I've ever spent money on in my entire life.
Yeah.
And let's show that I actually lost money so I get a refund even though I made money. That's all good when you're trying to find ways to work the system and save money on taxes, but it's hard when you are trying to qualify for a mortgage. So there are ways of using a schedule analysis method. basically, there's ways that we can look at a tax return that can pull out as much income from those taxes as possible. So though some lenders may have told you that you don't qualify because of how you wrote your taxes, that may not be the case. You may still be able to qualify.
Yeah.
If you're self-employed, you may still qualify for the Equity Builder program and you don't even realize it. So there are good ways we can go about that. If you are in a position, sometimes if you anticipate that you are going to need to either make a certain amount or you need to, in this case, be under a certain amount, you can coordinate with your tax preparer and me to make sure that you file your taxes in a way that it will be. So there's that. A lot of clients, some of the clients that we work with as well, have income sources that they don't think are strong enough to qualify. For example, someone who gets government assistance, depending on the type of government assistance, we can actually use that to qualify. Certain types of disability income you can use to qualify. It has to be permanent, it has to be something that's gonna be continuing. And there's all kinds of fun little rules about that. Let me ask you guys a couple questions. Let me take kind of a survey of the room. How many here are employees of companies? You know, your W-2 taxes are taken out of your paycheck. Okay, 1, 2, okay. How many of you guys are self-employed? Okay, so I was not expecting this. So self-employed is actually making up a big part of the room. Okay, cool. And then how many guys are unemployed? Yeah, there we go. I knew it. There's always one. There's always one.
So good.
Cool. So there's different rules for each kind of business you have. Sir, what kind of business do you do?
Right now I drive for DoorDash and I'm building on an MLM type.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So
Trying to make money from that right now.
trying to make that cool. There's different ways you can make that work based on how the taxes are written. Usually it's a Schedule C, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, there's all kinds of fun stuff we can do. When it comes to credit, when it comes to qualifying, a lot of people think that their credit score is a make or break thing. They think their scores are really low and they can't qualify. In reality, you can totally qualify. If you are, the minimum credit score for the Cal HAPA Equity Builder program is 660. 660, that's not too bad. When it comes to qualifying for other kinds of loan programs, we'll do loans all the way down to 550. So we go lower than most other banks will when it comes to qualifying. And if there's any reason you think you can't qualify, your score is too low, we have ways of helping boost your score. The best example of that is I've had a client that went from I can't remember the exact numbers. They went up 100 points in 7 days.
Wow.
And they didn't spend any money because they followed the instructions I gave them. So there are all kinds of really unique things where you think I can't qualify because of this, but when you talk to someone who really knows how the systems work, you find out, oh, maybe there's a chance, maybe there's a way. There are certain kind of credit events people think will disqualify them from being able to buy a house. We have programs that are meant like a second start or second chance programs are called. Basically, if you've had a foreclosure, a bankruptcy, you've had some kind of a massive credit event that usually you'd have to wait 7 years in order to do anything, we can do them after only 1 year. There are ways of marking down the extenuating circumstances and explaining it away. So all kinds of fun stuff about how we can make things work that people think is not possible. And then lastly is assets. So whether you're doing a loan program that like the Equity Builder that doesn't require any money, or you're going to be sourcing your down payment from something like your 401k, you can take a loan against that. You can use gift funds and use money from family members, or you can sell something. I had a client who had a 1990 Ford Ranger and he sold it for $100,000.
Wow.
And that was like, that doesn't make sense, but we were able to document it and show that he was not actually selling drugs. There was no cocaine in the truck, in the back of the truck. So there's all kinds of fun ways we can help you to get from where you are to where you want to be. The process, once you have is basically to start with a easy conversation with me. It's usually about 5 to 20 minutes on the phone just to get to know those basic variables about you. And then from there, we let you know what documentation we'll need. Sometimes if you're, if you're a W-2 employee and you're working for a company, it's very clean, easy income. It's pay stubs for the most recent 30 days, 2 years of your W-2s, and that's it for the income. We don't need any tax returns for that situation. We need your photo ID, and we need 2 months of statements for wherever your down payment is coming from in that case. That's it. It can be really, really simple. And then the process of getting pre-approved, we jump on a Zoom call. We get face-to-face and I walk you through the process. The reason why face-to-face or on Zoom is so important is because I want you to see the screen. I want you to see those numbers moving around. You want to buy a house at $400,000? Okay, here's what the payment looks like. Here's what each portion of your payment means. Like, what are property taxes? How do you know that's my insurance bill? What do you mean I gotta pay mortgage insurance? We explain each part of the process so that way you feel safe, you feel educated. When somebody takes the time to walk you through that, it makes such a big difference when you're going out. You don't feel that anxiety because it is a big deal when you're buying a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
The largest investment most of us will ever make in our lifetime. So we want to make sure that you're working with somebody who can take their time educating you and walking you through the process. So from there, once we do that, you have everything you need to know exactly how much you can afford, how much the monthly payment will be for that purchase price, and all the variables of what you need to have ready. And then that's when Nikki and her team jump in, and they can then take you out and you can confidently go looking at houses, knowing what you can and can't do, and feel comfortable knowing that once you find the house, that you're not risking your deposit by putting it down. You feel confident knowing that you're working with a great team. And then we can ask a couple of questions. Usually when we get to this stage, we always want to ask a few questions, and everybody's usually got one or two about things they think may or may not qualify them, or frequent things they've heard that they want to know whether it's real or not. What questions do we have to start?
Some people ask like, what does your credit, maybe you have a Sharpie, what's the minimum FICO? You know what I mean? And you said that some people are nervous because you said you're able to boost that up in 7 days, 100 points. So people get nervous, like, my credit's not good. I owe some debts, or I'm delinquent, like 1 or 2, but it's like fixable. People get nervous of like, they just feel that they're not qualified, but some people's like, yo, you're qualifiable. You know what I mean? Having that confidence.
Exactly. When it comes to credit score, it goes down really, really low to about 350, I think is the lowest that range goes.
Mhm.
You got to be trying really hard to get your score that low. You got to be you got to be sending inappropriate pictures to the head of Equifax and TransUnion. It takes a lot of effort to get that low. The lowest I've ever seen is 485-ish, somewhere around there. Most times people think they can't, their scores are disqualifying them, and it's not. There's a few easy ways to fix it. Now, whenever we talk to people, your situation is going to be very, very unique. And I want to make sure you realize this, that every time somebody talks to me, we take the time to know your situation, your story, what's going on, and then we can find solutions for your specific. The most common one is credit cards. Credit cards are revolving accounts is what they're called, where you can charge them, pay it back, charge them, pay it back. When the credit bureaus look at your credit cards, they say, okay, here is your max. And they look at how much you have charged on it, not based on the dollar amount. They care about what percentage of the limit. So if you've got a $100 limit and you've got charged $10 on there, you're at 10%. If you've got $99 charged on there, then you've got 99%. But even if you have that same $99 charge in there, but the limit is $20,000, it goes from being a liability, like a really bad hit on your credit, to being, oh, you've got really low limits on your really low balances. We'll actually give you some positive scores. But we can estimate what changes will make the most sense. Sometimes we hear things like, there's an error on my credit report. Somebody gave me identity theft. I don't know how to get rid of that. There are ways of doing that. It's going through the process of filing a police report and filing it with the credit bureaus. And if you have someone who just tells you the right steps to do it, totally doable to get that off. More often than not, people say I'm disputing it because I want my score to go up, but they don't realize if you dispute something that is legit, a lot of times that actually does not help you because we can't get a loan done if there's disputed accounts on it. But if it's legitimately not yours, easy ways to get rid of that, no problem. You had a question?
Now, the debt to ratio, that has to be at 45.
Each program does have different rules. So you got me going on now. So if you make
We're visual people too.
you make $5,000, or they say your house payment and all your debt together is $5,000, and you make $10,000, debt versus your income, that would be 50%. Now we're gonna take a math class. How do I make that percentage different? Change one of the variables. We can either do what to this?
Lower it.
We can either make your expenses lower,
Uh-huh.
make your income larger, or both. So it's just a big fun math problem. The easy answer though, to be more specific to you, to your question, Cal Halfa Equity Builder has a 45% ratio maximum. If you are below 700 credit score, if you're above 700 credit score, it will increase it to 50%. And different loan programs will go to different percentages. For example, FHA. FHA will most times approve you all the way up to 56.999999999%. And then there's VA. VA is even a different one. VA's are loans for veterans. Those loans have a different way they calculate everything, and I've seen them approve up to like 63%. So each one's a little bit different. And just because you think you know what your income is, there may be a way for us to document and qualify it where we make that number look bigger, or make that number look bigger, and we can exclude certain debts in order to make your expenses look smaller. For example, did you know that if you have a car payment that you co-sign for, and that other person is making the payment 100%, and they've done that for at least 1 year, I can pretend that that car payment doesn't exist. It happened.
But you have to show proof of it.
Yeah.
Huh.
With every rule, there's ways of documenting and making sure that it makes sense. But just depends on what the scenario is, and it depends on how good the loan officer is, to be honest with you. There's so often we get save deals where someone was told no by multiple people and they talked to me, and I said, oh no, IHSS is a usable income source. Oh yeah, I can use 125% of that income because of this. Oh yeah, you were told you couldn't use that Social Security income? Yeah, you can actually use that, and I can use 125% of that number in order to make it qualify. Which is our client. She was told by multiple people that she did not make enough money in order to qualify, and we were able to show her that we know how these programs work. So we're more skilled at this stuff to be able to make something happen and work. It wasn't just a matter of doing something that other people couldn't, having a skill set to be able to understand how the rules work and make it happen.
If there's two people filing for the mortgage, one is at high score, one's at like low to medium. What do you do in that? That they're gonna go off the high or go off the low? Or do you
Depends on the loan program. So that's a good question though. So depending,
For this one, what would it be?
this one would be the lower of both of you. So
The lower?
it's gonna say if you each have 3 scores,
Mhm.
each got 3 scores, it'll pick the middle number for each of you, and whichever one is lower, that's the one they're gonna use.
Okay.
Now, there are ways of, for example, if I was a problem solve that one, I'd say, okay, the person with the lower credit score, do I need her income in order to qualify, or can I do it just under him or her? I don't want to assume. I almost got myself there. So we would do it that way. There are other programs where if there is there are other programs that will actually use the primary wage earner's credit score rather than using the lower. And there's some that'll use blended ratio or blended credit score. So they'll actually average it together. So it's got to know which tool in the toolkit. Toolshed. I'm a lender. I've got really soft hands. I don't know if you can tell, really soft hands. Oh, you had a question?
Good question, yes, sir.
Only good ones.
Good.
You mentioned the 401k earlier, 7%. So that would be they just have to do the rest of the requirements and then you pull out a portion of their 401k to make 20%.
Correct. Now, let me kind of dig in a little bit to what you said and repeat it in case anybody didn't hear it. Whether or not you can use your 401k as a portion of your down payment for the Equity Builder program, the answer is yes. There was the client that I helped a couple months ago. He was in a really, really unique situation. He's been in contract to buy this house from his landlord for about 12 years.
Huh.
Yeah.
He said they
Really?
signed that contract. 12 years.
12, it was right after the crash. It was really low. He said, you're gonna buy, I'm gonna rent it until I'm able to qualify for the loan and to purchase it, and then we'll buy it at whatever the balance is of your mortgage at that time. So it's a really cool deal. The balance of the mortgage was only about $250,000. The house is worth about $8.
Wow.
He used an equity builder program in order to buy it. Ah.
Wow.
And so it's just being creative enough to find those little loopholes. When it comes to 401k, you can, as long as you meet the income requirements and the credit requirements and you're within all the rules, you can throw as much money as that down payment as you want to. You don't have to be maxed out 95% first mortgage, 10% second mortgage, 105 combined loan to value. You don't have to be all those things. You gotta know what the rules are and say, well, can I do this? Yeah, so that's a good question. The fun thing about 401k loans as well, people don't realize this. I don't have to count the payment of the 401k loan. So if you're going up to your limit, you can actually borrow. Usually it's 50% of the limit of your 401k, of the balance of your 401k, up to $50,000, depending on each program's a little bit different. But you can access all that money, and I don't have to hit you for the payment on that portion. You're paying yourself back interest. It's very cool.
Is there a price ceiling on the house or a mortgage with this?
There is no price ceiling on the house, but there is the income restriction, and there is the, just make sure I'm not flubbing here. There's the income, the credit, you're within those. No, there's no limit on the size of the mortgage, of the equity builder loan. There's no limit on any of that, as long as the debt to income ratio is where it needs to be and you're below the income limit. Yeah. I'm checking through all the guidelines in my head when there's a unique one. Other people in my office have actually closed where it's very similar to this client I told you about. They've got tons of assets. They're putting like 75% down. They only needed a small mortgage, but they're retired. They haven't owned a house in the last 3 years, so they do qualify as first-time home buyers. And they were able to get the equity builder loan, and it met guidance.
Wow. They took advantage of it.
Mhm.
So good.
Can you use mortgage to fix up the house, or does it have to go only for its payments? Or
So that's a key. You're looking for ways to get extra money out of it rather than just using it for down payment and closing costs. There's not a way to do that. However, if you have a bunch of assets and you're using this in order to minimize your down payment, then you have cash ready to go.
Yeah.
Which is basically the same thing.
For sure.
Good
And I
question.
think this one gives people an opportunity to get in a home without a down payment. And people's afraid of that, like I have to save so much money, I have to save this. So, and then to know that they're gonna, if you live in it for 5 years, like that's it. We're giving it to you for free. So that's like $40,000,
yeah,
45,000.
insane.
Mhm.
Insane.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's very good.
Mhm.
What other questions we got?
Sure. That's a question.
Or-
So, and then some people like, hey, if the income's not amount, they could add people to it, right?
Correct.
Like some people like, man, I want to qualify for a higher, I qualify, but my purchase price is so little. What are some things they could do? They could actually add people as a co-borrower.
Correct, yeah, you can use non-occupying co-borrower, or basically if mom and dad are gonna co-sign for you, or if anybody's gonna co-sign for you in order to increase your buying power, that is totally doable.
But they have a house already, but you don't. Is
Totally
that a
fine.
problem?
Let's say, so I actually had this on another client, mom. Yeah,
Mhm.
it always works better when you make sound effects. Mom was just the most perfect co-signer. She had a house payment of $1,300 a month. We were short like $500 a month in income in order to make this deal work. And so we said, oh, okay, mom, how much is your house payment? $1,300 a month. Oh, cool. You have any debt? No, I got like $25 a month in little payments and stuff like that, but nothing much. Oh, cool. All right, so you're at $1,325 per month. Good. Like, all right, well, God, I hope you make enough income. How much do you earn? $8,500 a month in income and you have almost no expenses, perfect cosigner. You basically add their income, mom's income, the house payment, mom's house payment, all the expenses. Their ratios went from like 63% and all of a sudden it was down to 30. Like that's the perfect cosigner. You can do whatever you want at that point. So it's all just a big fun math problem. So yes, you can get cosigners.
That's all right. Are you done?
That was
So
great.
since this is a supplement mortgage, is it smaller than the main mortgage or can it be equal to or bigger than?
It's in second lien position, meaning like a regular mortgage has the first. It'd be really unique if one was bigger than the other. I'm trying to think when it would ever mathematically be bigger than the other. I
You're
don't
not
think there's any
paying
rules on
interest on that,
Correct.
the down payments. There's no interest
There's no
No.
interest on the equity builder
on
portion.
the equity. Yeah, you don't pay any interest.
But he was asking if there's any reason why the second couldn't be bigger. That's the second is always 10% of the purchase price. So there's no way to shift it
Yeah.
over, make one or the other. It's just a math problem. But I like where you're going. I like where you're going.
I was trying to say if I could,
Yeah.
if there's like a loophole.
Uh-huh.
There's always loopholes, he said.
There's a lot of loopholes,
You
yeah.
did say that.
Yeah.
You did.
Loopholes, gotchas, exceptions.
So let's just say, let's just say you have small debts, right? You can have small debts, it's okay, as long as you qualify. Okay, so it's basically, if they're giving you the 10, you know how you gave, it was a 105 loan amount for, and that 5% was covering the closing costs, right? The 105%, that was Punam hat.
Mhm.
Can you use it towards like, hey, can I pay off this debt?
No, you cannot use CalHAPA for paying off debt.
Got it. Not using some of that. Okay.
But usually the math works out that if you structure it where you're basically covering the down payment and the closing costs, anything extra, you're not gonna have enough cash in order to pay off the debt anyway. So like it'd basically be coming out of your pocket. So
Awesome. So, yeah, I know this program just came out, a lot of people is not knowing, are you doing a lot of this? And some people, and getting sellers to be familiar with it as well. What is your suggestion? Like getting approved right away? Like, tell us.
yeah, get
From
approved
that.
right away. CalHAPA, the government organization, California Housing Finance Authority, has been around for a long time. And there's been other versions of CalHAPA down payment assistance before. This is the biggest one that I know of and pretty much the easiest to qualify for from what I can tell you. When it comes to qualifying and your ability to be competitive right now, because 6 months ago we were in a totally different market. You
Mhm.
couldn't get an offer accepted unless you were waiving your contingencies. You
Yeah.
were paying 50,000 above list price, and you were making the seller beneficiary on your life insurance. Like all this ridiculous stuff.
Small.
And now it's gotten so much better where you can actually ask the seller to, pay for your closing costs a little bit, ask for money for them to
Yeah.
buy down your interest rate. There's all kinds of things you can do. And so with this program, you're not going to have to ask them for much of anything because you can't buy down the interest rate. It's already really low and all this stuff. You don't need any closing costs. You just need them to accept the offer.
That's so
And-
true.
So it's way easier to get offers accepted with this program as our client was so excited to find out recently.
Definitely. And I like that because you could take that extra money, like if you don't have an updated house or anything, that's what your extra funds is. You could fix up the house. Doesn't have to be.
Another question. You said that the funds run out, so this is like a yearly program that renews every year?
They renews I believe so. I believe it's a budget line item for the state.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
Pull up my little guideline sheet. I don't know the exact answer for that, but it's money that's available.
And because they want to, since the interest rate went up, that's why they came out with this program to make it affordable for people that couldn't buy before, and it's giving an opportunity for them to own their first home. Is to create home ownership, really. A lot of people couldn't buy in this market. Rent was really expensive, but now it's like, hey, if you don't buy now, your rent is pretty much the same as the mortgage. So, it is important to capture the market, sometimes it's always the timing. Some people's like, man, I should have sold like 3 months ago, I should have bought this, but now it's like, that's why you being here, just take advantage of it. Important.
When was the best time, when was the best time to buy real estate? Yesterday.
Yesterday.
What's the
Yeah.
next best time? Today.
Correct.
Especially if you're renting. You're not any control. Rent's gonna constantly be going up. If you buy a house, you lock in that payment. You're able to start building equity for the future. It's like all the things we hear all the time, and mathematically, you just gotta look at it and be like, okay, I just gotta talk to Ryan and get approved and actually go look at a house.
Definitely. And I think some people get nervous because they feel like it's such a lengthy process. It's like, no, once you give him all the documentation, you may not, you may qualify for a loan amount, but he's gonna guide, like he said, I'm gonna guide you what you need to do to reach that goal so that we could go shopping. Yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
What are we doing at time?
We're good. So we're 10 minutes, but we're ending at 6:30.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you guys have any other questions.
So
Yeah.
from here, for anybody who has, I'm gonna walk around with this little QR code. We'll drop my digital business card into your phone, and then all I want you to do is to hit save contact, and then send me a text message and say, tell me what your name is, and say, yes, I would love to hear more about the Equity Builder program and see if I can qualify. I need it all spelled out in 12-point font. And then if nothing else, then just say thanks for your time, and that's it. You'll have all my contact info. If you or anybody you know needs might be able to qualify, and you think like, hey, they should totally figure out if it's a right fit for them, please do share my information so we can help more families.
Definitely.
And I'm gonna do the same thing on Zoom. Wherever many people are there, I'm gonna put
We got Rosa here.
Rosa, I'm gonna put this. Okay. You can do a little screen capture right now. Ready? Here we go. I'm sure she's doing it. I feel it.
We got Rosa on there.
All right. Got it. Yep. See, she did it.
You did it? Great. That's
Yay.
awesome. And make sure you guys from the Nikki Win team mention us so he'll know that to link you back to us.
Oh, everything, of course, everything. Nikki and her team did so good for our client that's in escrow right now. I can't tell you how there's certain clients when you talk to them and they're so happy and grateful that they cry out of gratitude. Even like I've cried multiple times with Rob. It's been very, very nice. Yeah, and thank you guys so very much for inviting me to talk. And I'm gonna walk around here now.
Thank you, Ryan. And guess what? Since you guys being here, we have some treats to raffle off. Yes, wasn't that good information?
Yeah.
So make sure let all your family know, or people like even your coworker. I tell them, they're like, "What? I never knew they had that program." I said, "I know. We just started helping buyers to get into this, and it's free money. Where do you go in 5 years get 40,000? 40,000 drop from your mortgage? Nowhere. I wish I qualified for this program. Hey, we're gonna do Rosa, you're in our raffle too, so we'll see if we pick you, okay? We got that.
Thank you.
All right. Very good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm playing for now.
Are you guys ready?
What pleasure?
Wi-Fi here?
Nikki? Yeah? Is this webinar or Zoom call recorded?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I always think that.
You know, her name is Beetle. And so when I hear her name, Beetle,
Yeah, oh, you were like.
make sure I get that right.
Yeah. Right, the over is Edlin, yeah.
And-
Edlin, just Edlin, Edlin.
Not Ed, Edlin.
Yeah, not Edlin, Edlin.
My mother-in-law is.
That's my sister, the Erlin.
And so there's like 5 or 6 families.
All right, we're gonna turn on some music and some quick announcements. Wasn't that good? So we're gonna do more events, it's gonna be lots of fun. Also some fun events, but our next event, I know some of you guys are married already, but if you wanna hook up, we're doing a singles night.
Wow.
And it's called Friends, because people always meet, like, how'd you meet? Friends through friends. But the only way you get invited, if you get invited, if a friend invited you, that we know. So it's always friends through friends, and it's limited. And it's gonna be 25. It's a fun thing. We're hosting it just for people. Hey, you may meet someone. They may be your best friend, but you have a friend that's been hitting and they're nervous. We take the awkwardness of meeting for the first time. So it's not like you feel like everyone's gonna hit on you. It's basically, this is the thing. No one gets to know. You're not supposed to ask for any number. We become the bridge. So if there's 3 people you want to connect with, and we will connect you, and if they say yes, then we connect. If they say no, no hard feelings, and nobody would know. So you don't have to feel rejected or anything.
What's a flyer?
It's coming out. Yeah, it's coming out, and we're gonna balance it out. So people who, the only way you can invite it in is that way. Yes.
Can married people help?
Married people help. We would love your help. So because we're gonna teach people like what the fear. We're gonna have female, and you're gonna learn about tips. You know, a lot of girls are shy. Guys scared of rejection. We all been through that, but we want to make it because we don't know. You might meet your best friend. You might meet your soulmate. You might meet your business partner because it's friends through friends. So it's a fun event. So just want you to know, and there's more upcoming days. Huh?
If me and my wife come and we pretend that we don't know each other, and I'm just gonna pick her up there.
If you come and kiss her there, they'll be like, wow, first day, huh? First night.
She's asked me, she's like, can we go to the singles ministry at church and you just come up and hit on me?
So
Is this your new side hustle?
this is our site. This is something I always, when I was like, hi, Owen. So this was something that was fun, and I think we wanted to do a fun thing, you know what I mean? But not a place, and it's a healthy place to meet people. It's not like, man, where you're from, and that's people. I don't know where you're from, but it's just connecting people, friends.
Do you have a name for it?
It's called Friends Meet Friends. It's gonna be at Chloe. Friends Meet Friends.
Better
Friend
name.
connects friends. What's the better name you give me?
Nikki, you should create an app too.
Nikki's
And
friend.
if it goes hit, we'll do it once, but we're doing the age. We're doing age 25 to 45 first. And if it's a hit, we might do a bigger age.
What about friends, fun friends?
How about friends of Nikki?
Friends, and they know that they're for other friends. Okay, let's wrap. Oh, we got Rosa here. We got the first person who came into the room to get a pick. The person. The Bible says the first will be last, the last will be first. We're all biblical. All right, we'll shake it. Wait. We're raffling the mercy. Wait, just don't look at that. This will be the chocolates.
You drop it.
Okay, we got this. Okay, who you got?
Nicholas.
Is Nicholas? Okay. Nicholas not here. Nicholas not here. Okay. Sorry. Okay, we'll pick one.
More chances for us.
More chances. See, come here, you get sweet treat.
What am I supposed to get? Or look for?
Look for the name. That's it. I put everybody's name.
Michelle.
Michelle! She called it.
Winner, chicken dinner.
All the
So what up, Brian? This is, you don't need to go to Hawaii. We got Hawaii to you. So you see this? You didn't need to go to Hawaii. We went to Hawaii to pick it up for you. So come on, Ryan. It's not a Hawaii ticket, but next time. We're gonna do a contest, then we'll get a Hawaii ticket.
It is Hawaii.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dun, 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 dun. Let's see what we got.
Ryan, no.
Rosa! You win! She won! Rosa, pick it up! Yay! Chocolate! See, this was
Thank you.
in. Blast. You're a blast. That's a sign. So thank you for tuning in. We'll connect with you guys. After this, any questions, talk to Ron. Yes.
When's the single night?
I know that's gonna be hit already, right?
It's gonna be September, let me see my phone.
On September, it's a Thursday.
September 8th.
September 8th. And remember, first come, so if, even though you register and there's a lot register, you might make it to the next event because we're gonna balance the playing field. Yep. Thanks, Rosa. So come to my office and collect it. Okay, I'll text you to our office. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
This was